Hi, and welcome to our session. My name's Matt. I am the Senior Product Marketing Manager here at Jamf, joined by Ant, one of our Senior Consulting Engineers. And we're here to really talk about successful deployments with Apple devices, really making sure that what you want to achieve when you're putting technology in the hand of students is actually what is achieved. So thinking about what teaching and learning looks like and how IT used to be used, there's a big change. So thinking about how IT has been used to think about those very specific use cases of understanding computing or how the internet works or filing systems or how to do word processing, those days are still around, but we've really started to think about how does that go even further with the use of technology to impact on student outcomes. So technology for IT is great, but technology for teaching learning sometimes takes a different approach to how you actually deploy that technology into the classroom. For one thing, if you're a curriculum leader, you want to know that every teacher is using technology, not just some teachers. Because if only some teachers use the technology, you're going to be confined to thinking about both a paper-based version as well as your IT-based version. And then you get disparity amongst your learner experiences and you lose that equity for all. So when we think about technology for learning and teaching, are we thinking about accessibility, mobility, how devices can be used beyond the classroom, and are students safe at all times when they're doing these things? So when we think about a purposeful deployment, what does that actually look like for all individual schools? Now, we know that schools will choose Apple devices, for example, because of their focus on accessibility, portability, and all of the great that you can do, specifically around creative ways that you can have a curriculum. And you'll set those devices up using things like zero-touch deployment, using all of those elements of management that make it simple and easy to move from 30 devices to 1,000 devices. So the IT admin doesn't get overloaded with all of these additional things that they have to do. We keep it nice and simple for them. But then we also believe that technology and IT should go beyond the classroom door. So things like Jamf Teacher, Apple Classroom, Jamf Student empower the educators to be able to take control of their classroom to make sure that their purpose is met. And that's not about IT, it's about teaching and learning. And if those devices go home, Jamf Parent also supports all of those parents to make sure that the devices are controlled and configured in the exact way that parents want it to be done in their own house. But then we go that one step further and think about unique solutions that you can plug into all of this. We're not talking about classroom solutions that might impact specifically on a subject, but whole school core solutions that might support handwriting, feedback, assessment, or any of those other things that every single teacher will want to utilize to make sure that equity goes across the board. And we can plug into all of those things to make it as simple and easy for all teachers to use the devices without having to be an IT expert. And then the final stage is securing it all. With more devices means more students that could be accessing things that may bring malicious attacks to your network. So how do we make sure that those devices are protected? Because if a phishing attack lands on a 5-year-old's device, they're probably not really aware of the difference between the two. So how do we just make sure our network is protected even if that child accidentally taps on something? So we're really passionate about these things because we want to make sure that we remove the barriers for educators so students get the best outcome for all of their teaching and learning benefits that can come. It needs to be reliable. Teachers have huge workloads, huge pressures on them, and introducing anything new into the classroom is going to be a distraction. So how do we make sure we put something into their hands which is reliable, that they can trust that if they plan a lesson around technology, they can actually use it? And that final thing around purpose. Is this actually meeting the needs of their curriculum? They've got the pressures to teach a specific thing. Are we actually giving them technology that can meet that specific needs? Now, as we move forward, we get this a lot. I'm not an IT teacher. I don't know anything about technology, but you've given me this device. So we want to kind of show how you can simplify some of that deployment by overcoming those barriers before the device even really gets into the hands of that educator.
Yeah. So you've been given a device, Matt. why don't we just step through how this works? So we give you this iPad. It says hello, you know the screen. If you've set up an iPad before, you know what this looks like. You connect it to Wi-Fi. In our case, we're also going to be able to enroll it directly into Jamf School. It's really super simple to do. You press the button, there's nothing else to it. You are enrolling into Jamf School and everything's going to be there, all of your apps and all that kind of...
Okay, Ant, I'm going to stop you. That's all very well, but you've given me a MacBook. I understand how iPads work because we've had them for a while, but you've now given me a MacBook as well. And that's a lot more complicated to get set up.
Well, I don't know if it is. It starts the same. We have our Mac and we choose our language, our location, and we connect it to our network. Okay? The next screen that we see again is this remote management screen. This is the ability to do zero-touch deployment, as we like to call it. Again, if you've ever enrolled an iPad or a Mac before, you'll see that you get to this screen, and at this screen, you don't really know what's happening, but in the background, the device is talking to Jamf, and we're configuring the device. And at this point, we can do a number of different things as well as enroll the device, like install some really cool pieces of tools and software that will make the next step really simple too. So if we do move on, what you'll see is after this remote management screen, before I've done anything else, I've now got this onboarding tool. And this onboarding tool is really, really useful for user feedback. If it's not IT that are deploying these devices, and it's you as the teacher in the classroom, you know exactly what is going on. And not only that, from an IT point of view, I am making sure that all of your core apps are on this device before you even need to get started with things. I can also make sure that all of your apps and books are on there from the VPP store. And of course, this wouldn't be a Jamf presentation if I didn't also say we can make sure we've got all the Jamf tools on there to keep you safe and secure as well. So as you can see, I haven't had to do anything as a user, but I know where I am in this process. At no point in time I go, I don't know what's going on, and maybe I need to speak to somebody from IT. It's super smooth and super easy to do. Now, I do just want to point out that this is something we're quite excited about. This is a new feature for us in Jamf School and the way that we can deploy those tools. So it's something called enrollment packages. It doesn't really matter what that means for this audience, if I'm being completely honest. We want to get to the core stuff here. But that tool that we've just got is also made by a Jamf. Okay, this isn't part of Jamf School Suite or anything like this. At Jamf, we have this program called Jamf Concepts, and it's tools, admin tools made by Jamfs to help the ecosystem, the Jamf ecosystem. So it's kind of cool this is made by a Jamf, right? And it gives that onboarding ability. And I think there's nothing better than being able to give that feedback during the onboarding. So let's drop straight back into it again. Again, you'd be familiar with this. After the onboarding has happened, if you need to sign into your Apple ID or you need to Touch ID, we can do all of that. And next, we're ready to sign into this Mac. But not only are we ready to sign into it, we're ready to sign into it with our Enterer account. The same username and password that you already use for all of your other systems and for all of your other solutions. And when I get there, I'll sign in with my known password. And you'll see as soon as we hit the desktop, it's branded. It's got the desktop of potentially your school logo on there. The dock has changed with all of the purposeful apps that you're going to need to teach your lessons. And this is the first time you've landed on this. It's already ready for you to go.
Okay, so I feel a little bit more assured that I've got everything that I need on the device. You've kind of shown me that I don't need to panic when it's just doing nothing for like 10 minutes. So that's really, really good. I feel like I'm ready. I know what I'm doing with my device. It's got my purpose. It's meeting my purpose because all of those things are on the device and I'm ready to go. Excellent. Okay, so I do need access to add additional things though, because we do have printers. Can I get admin access? Can you just give me admin privileges so I could just log in as you?
Well, I'm sure everybody knows that we don't probably want to give admin credentials to everybody. However, you have a point. Let's take an example of the printer, as you said. So, Matt, if you were to try and install a printer, as it were, you would find that you would be asked for an admin password. And of course, I'm not going to give you an admin password. So there's two things here. You either put an IT ticket in, or you put that Mac back in the drawer because it's now not got a purpose for you. So instead, what we can do is we can give you the ability to elevate your privilege to do this yourself. So if you were to go over to the menu bar at the top in a second, you've got a menu there that's going to allow you to request your admin privileges. Okay? It's really simple. Menu bar, you click it and off you go. Next thing that happens is we kind of go, okay, that's great, but we need to make sure you are actually allowed to elevate your privileges, because not everybody you're going to want to give that ability to. So again, we ask you to log in with your known credentials. And then when we do, we say, can you just tell us what it is that you're actually trying to do? Because if we find that all these people are trying to do that thing, then maybe we need to change our policy. After that, what will happen is you will be elevated for a given amount of time. And depending on who you are, depends on how long that is. It might be that you only need 5 minutes, so that we give you 5 minutes. But what you were able to do was add your printer. So no, Matt, I'm not going to make you an admin, but I'll give you the admin privileges when you need them for the reasons that you need them.
But that actually meets my purpose, because I probably don't want full admin rights, but I do need to do these things because you don't always respond to help desk tickets when it meets my time zone. So that's a really helpful thing. Okay, great. So you've solved that problem, but I have lots of issues. So let's just say I also need specific apps for my lessons. Like, I know you've given us these general apps that we use, but I teach French. So what apps do I need on my devices? I want to be able to do that.
Okay, cool. So there's a couple of different things. You know, you can get apps from various different places, but if these are apps that are specific to your lesson and have kind of already been approved by the school anyway, we have installed as part of that deployment, either, depending if you're a student or a teacher, Jamf Teacher or Jamf Student. And from there, we have something that we call, well, would be effectively known as a self-service portal. So as you can see here, we've given you additional apps that you can download that, is, again, fits your purpose, because I don't know whether you need this app or that, but you do. You simply go into the collection that we've given there. We can do things with categories. So we could say, these are the French apps, these are the maths app, whatever that looks like. And I literally just go away and hit get. There's no password that you need. Okay? You don't need an Apple ID, none of that kind of stuff. If we've made it available for you and you need it, you can just go away and click it. And quite simply, once it's there, this is an example, we'll just go away and you'll see that we've just installed Firefox. Firefox is now in your listed apps, and you can just get running with it just as you need to. And again, you're up and running without having to put that IT ticket in.
Okay, so that is a really, really important thing, because the amount of help desk tickets that I put in, IT get lots of help desk tickets. I know I've got a lot of people on my team who are going to ask you lots of questions, right? So you're going to slow things down because we're asking you lots of questions. Okay, so you also say I don't need a password for anything, but I keep getting emails about resetting my Microsoft password. So what's going on there?
Okay, let's have a look at the email. Let's have a look here. Oh, this one from IT support?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if we've sent anything to it. What does it say? Oh, there's a couple of things there, Matt, that I think maybe we should check on, but looks like you're about to click on that link. I don't know if I would if I was you. I don't know who Jamf is, but it definitely isn't us. Ah, right, so that was a phishing email. But don't worry, because if you get a phishing email, we've already made sure this device is secure, and we will go away and notice that that's a phishing.
Okay, so, but is that going to work for me and students? Because, like, I know sometimes I may accidentally push it, but I know lots of students are getting these emails as well, because they'll ask me, which is usually why I send them to you to ask for support. Yeah. That will support students even if they're at home?
Even if they're at home. And this is also, if the student has an iPad, it doesn't matter to us, we're going to make sure it's safe and secure.
So iPad, Macs protected, threats evaded. Excellent, sounds good to me. Okay, so fundamentally what we've just gone through there is the biggest point of resistance sometimes in any deployment is the teacher who will have multiple reasons why they don't want to use technology. And from an IT deployment success side, you may make sure that they're all on board. So what we've just been able to show you is just some of the frequent issues that teachers will constantly say, but I need this, I need this. Now, you can deal with that issue with help desk tickets. But if you are an IT admin, you'll know that those help desk tickets just mount and mount and mount. And if you're deploying thousands of devices, you're going to get thousands of help desk tickets, which slows down your time, makes you less efficient. So what we're trying to do at Jamf to support schools with that deployment is think about all of the capabilities that are going to be useful to make sure that you meet that ultimate purpose. These are just some of the enhancements that we've made over the last year or so, thinking about how we can make it even more efficient for IT admins, curriculum leaders, teachers, and parents to be able to use technology effectively in the classroom, because that's the critical use of the tools. Now, we just like to say thank you for joining in with us. We are on stand N NJ41. I knew it was somewhere in my head. Please do come and join us and find out anything more about anything we've shared with you today. The QR link here will take you to a page where it lists all of the presentations that we're doing on our stand as well. But yeah, in final closing, thank you very much and hope you enjoy the rest of your day at Bett.